Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel studios and streaming worldwide through the iHeart app and yorbamedia.com. All right, my first guest today, Bob Spiegel, CEO, Pinch Food Design. This is the fastest moving, most dynamic catering service you've ever heard of. These people are taking New York by storm. I have got the distinct pleasure of being able to bring them to Dallas and introduce them to our audience. All right, Bob, welcome to the show. Thank you for showing up.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, my pleasure. Now, Bob, let me back up just a little bit because you have got a Phoenix story about past failures, wisdom gained from those, and turning it into amazing success. But before we get into that, tell our audience why your company, Pinch Food Design, is so dynamic and what you're doing to turn the catering industry on its ear and completely change the way that you guys do business in that sector.
Well, I've been in catering for well over 30 years in New York, which is obviously a great town to entertain in, and a lot of corporate entertaining goes on here. And catering is very traditional, you know, your chicken dinner. And so what we wanted to really do was revolutionize catering and give guests these thrilling experiences that they've been getting from groundbreaking restaurants all over the world. We're in the middle of a food renaissance, and everybody knows a lot about food, even surprising people that you wouldn't expect to know as much about food. And we're trying to give them experience that restaurants can't pull off because restaurants are confined by having to serve on a plate, while at catered events we can serve on large chafing tables and hanging food and all different sorts of ways. And we're sort of at the very beginning stages of a food design revolution.
All right. Talk to me about that, because everybody thinks that food comes on a plate or platter, or it's in some kind of a chafing dish where they can line up like like cattle, and you don't do that.
Well, you know, if you ever notice at any party, everyone always ends up hanging out in the kitchen, and so our goal is to bring that experience of hanging out with the food. So instead of pushing people through a buffet, we want them to linger around the buffet. And my partner, T.J. Gerard, is a former set designer, and she and I have been working together for about 8 years at a separate company that I had sold. And now we are building all of our own vessels, all of our own hors d'oeuvre trays, all of our own what we call food furniture. And it's furniture that only food can hang out on, but we do not use tablecloths on a normal table, and we will hang pizzas from a copper jungle gym per se, and people just hang out by the food. So they're very interactive, and they're made to stimulate.
That sounds very different for a catering event or for any kind of a social event. Let me back up just a little bit here. Pinch, P-I-N-C-H, the name of your company. What is the definition of pinch? Where does that come from?
Well, I mean, for us, pinch has basically three definitions. The first, when we set out to do the company, we wanted it to be a memorable event. We want people to wake up the next morning and go, pinch me. Was that a dream? And just really remember. And by us helping them remember the event, they remember their guests, they remember the cause of the event. It wasn't just another event. The second is that in doing that, we don't want to take over the party. We don't want to be the Cirque du Soleil of your event. We want to just be a little pinch, and so a pinch of saffron will make a whole bouillabaisse yellow, and it's a cooking term, but it's usually a cooking term for a very small amount of something that makes something better, and that's sort of how we view ourselves. And then we like to be provocative because food is looking at food from different vantage points is stimulating, and so pinch me, a little pinch.
Got it. I'm all in on the pinches.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. I like them. All right, I just got to say it. But you approach your business differently. Most people, here's the bill, there's the food, thanks, see you later, we'll be back at 5 to pick up the dishes. You don't do that. You actually get in, you do the research so that the event comes off in a fashion like no other event they've ever put on, but more so than that, you measure the return on investment for this. Open that up for us.
Yeah, I mean, why are people entertaining? Most people entertain, or most corporations entertain, to launch a new product, to gain clients, and we are making sure that they can achieve that by hopefully getting guests to stay longer at their events, come to events, and remember these events. And if it's a fundraiser, they are hopefully giving a larger donation because they're having such a great time, and they're applauding the choice of the CEO or party planner or whoever decided to go with Pinch, because it is more of a risk than going with a traditional caterer. But we do serve, our food is not molecular gastronomy and sort of untouchable food. It's more of a twist on classics, architecturally designed between the tray and the food. But so it's not pretentious, and it's very approachable. So we do have pulled pork sandwiches and spaghetti and meatball hors d'oeuvres. It's just a question of how clever we do that stimulates the guests, and that and we do want our clients to come back, and the only way they're going to come back is if they do get a return on their investment.
You have an out-of-the-box approach, as I can tell by the conversation here today. Give us some out-of-the-box types of events that you've put on. We've got about 2.5-3 minutes left, but I want to hear a couple of these outrageous things that I've been hearing about your company.
Well, we have interactive bar experiences where we will bring a wall to a party that has a punch on it, different sort of spiked punches with artisanal sodas, and guests using turkey basters will fill up mugs that are hanging on the wall. Or we do pop-ups, which is somewhere between an hors d'oeuvre and a buffet, which is a happening at an event where we'll go through the party with waiters with ski gloves on and thin carved pieces of ice with shrimp cocktail. And they sort of come through the party, and everybody goes, "What's going on over there?" There's like a little parade, and then they'll stop, and they'll set out a momentary moment of food, and people pull out their cameras and start taking pictures, and then hit the buffet.
Wow. All right. I can tell that this is definitely a memorable occasion when you get involved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. We've got a little bit of time left in this segment, but let's stop for a moment and give everybody that's listening to us a chance to get to their phones, get to their websites, or get to their computers so that they can get onto your website and start to see some of the things that you do and reach out to you. What is contact information for you?
pinchfooddesign.com.
All right. And who should they be asking for here in the Dallas area?
They can ask for Stella or Karen. They are event specialists. They've been they're founders of Pinch along with TJ and I, and they have been in the industry for a long time, and they will help guide people to choose some more different alternatives than they're used to.
Yeah. Matt Bird, who introduced us, has been raving about what you do. What's the phone number? What's a good contact phone number for you?
244-7000.
Now, just because you're in New York doesn't mean you don't do things out of town, right?
We definitely have traveled. We haven't been to Texas yet, although back in the day I did cater a few parties in Texas. We just make the food a little bit bigger.
All right. I want to talk about your strategy on the next segment. I want to talk about your team and give us a chance to explore what's going on behind the curtain, but not least of all, your business experience, what you've done in the past, and why you are just taking New York by storm. We'll do it on the other side of the break, okay?
Great.
All right. We'll be right back with Bob Spiegel, CEO, Pinch Food Design, and special thanks to Monk Media, 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their media and PR support. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We are broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel studios and streaming worldwide through the iHeart app and yorbamedia.com. All right, I'm joined on this segment with Bob Spiegel, CEO, Pinch Food CEO, Pinch Food Design. And Bob, just I can tell that just going to your events is the ROI is obvious what's going to happen, because if it's like nothing they've ever seen, obviously they're going to be that's the impact that you're trying to make. But let's get behind the curtain here a little bit on this segment. I want to talk to you specifically about the team, because not one person can pull this thing off. It's not a one-man show. You've got an entire team and that brings all of their learned talents to the table here, no pun intended, but to the table on what you're doing. Please open that up for us.
Yeah, I mean, the key is that we are a food design company as opposed to just a caterer. So we have to marry food and design, which is now a major at many universities and becoming it's a movement. There's a movement out there started sort of in Europe, and it's moving here, and it's you'll hear the term food design much more as time goes on. And so TJ Gerard, my partner, and I work together in designing food that fits snugly into furniture pieces, and we work together to come up with these radical yet simple and obvious pieces. Also, a couple partners, as I mentioned before at Pinch Food Design, is Stella Rankin, who is a incredible planner and will know how to exactly how to create a flow and a reveal that keeps your guests interested.
As well as a former supermodel, from my understanding.
It's not bad. These kids are a little younger than me, so they hold together a little bit better than me. And Karen Hilburn is also a partner, and she's pretty amazing. And her and Stella helped us found the company and just really understand the product and can communicate it. Because we do speak a little bit of a foreign language over here, because we are making up a lot of terms.
Okay, throw a few new terms out there that some people who are in your industry that may be listening would go, okay, that is new.
Well, we call our buffets interactions because they are interactive, and we name all of our pieces. So we have pinch bowls and Marvelous tables and clipboard interactions and pop-ups, all new terms that because it's design and food together.
Now, in having a highly successful business, which is in a very competitive industry sector, which really probably hasn't changed since they invented the fishing hook. Right?
And lucky for us too, because we are jumping into what catering, which we sort of felt was very traditional and rather stale, and not moving at nearly the fast pace that restaurants are moving at.
Or the rest of the world. Your strategy, though, that's the core of your strategy, coming out with new things that nobody else is doing. Is there any part of your strategy that you wanted to open? Don't give the secret sauce out, but is there any other part of your strategy that you wanted to open up for other entrepreneurs to learn from?
I think that we didn't know, although we have the infrastructure and we've got strong systems and a custom designed database that lets us produce multiple parties in one day, and a large staff that from waiters to event chefs and planners that is very experienced. We didn't know it was going to be as big as it is because we were doing something so different, and it's really like people want something different. Not much unlike Apple, where people just want a brand new product and will line up for it. We're finding there's a tremendous excitement for people to come and have a pinch party and see that.
I like that. That's a new term for me, the pinch party. We're having a pinch party.
Right.
I got to have that. Okay. Now, you come to the boardroom with a wealth of experience, failures and successes. Talk to us about your past experiences. Before we got on the show, you were telling me about the soup chain and what you learned from that failure that led you into this tremendous success.
Well, I came out as a chef, and I always was on the kitchen side, and really getting involved in the product, really understanding the food, really having a knack for cooking really good food. And back in 1995, we opened up Daily Soup, which we grew into an 11-store chain right around the time of the Soup Nazi on Seinfeld. We were the Soup Mother Teresa's, a little bit nicer to our clients. But it was a phenomenon, and it was sort of pushed, and we made the common mistake of growing too fast. We had the infrastructure, but possibly didn't do enough market research, and we were faced with seasonality issues and escalating rents, and I was forced into having to go bankrupt, which was where I got my MBA. At that time, Saul Zabar would drive out from Zabar's to help me out, and all these CEOs from A&W Root Beer to Manischewitz and guys in New York would come out and really want to lend advice. It was almost like an initiation to a CEO club by going bankrupt. So it really taught me the biggest lesson was get back to focusing on your business, not as much focusing on growth. But really, if growth is there, if you focus on your business, and the numbers have to make sense.
Cool.
And so it really taught me how to look at a business, and those lessons, although I lost my shirt, were incredibly valuable.
I can tell. We have a saying in the trading industry, take care of the profits, the commissions will take care of themselves.
Right.
Now, what I'm thinking about is with this great knowledge and then moving into this new sphere with what you're doing with Pinch, I've been told that you've done some pretty high-profile events. Can you give us a couple of them that you've done, say, in the last few months?
Well, we don't. We really feel like events are private, and they're we don't really talk about our clients, but we do cater at some of the greatest venues New York has to offer. We do a lot of parties at the Museum of Modern Art. We are a regular at Christie's Auction House, and anywhere there's a high-end party, we will be there.
Give me the range on the amount of people that you work with in low-end, high-end.
Well, we're probably 50 people, and is the minimum, and we've done parties for as high as 2,200. At Pinch, and in the past I've done parties much larger, but those large events, the key, and I grew up as a glorious food chef back in 1983, and doing large parties in New York. I mean, that's the whole That's the key to understanding catering is being able to pull off the large parties while making sure you have the same exact food and service as an intimate party.
That sounds that is wonderful.
And by the way, one of the new things we're offering in 2014 is Intercourse. So we are Intercourse is an interactive sit-down meal where we are creating interactive plates to create so that those sit-down dinners are more than just beef or fish.
Well, before you had my interest, now you have my attention. just kidding. I took that from a movie. All right, we have to go now, but please, one more time, contact information for you, and if there's any upcoming events you want to tell our audience about, please do so now.
Pinch Food Design. It's www.pinchfooddesign.com. Send us an email from the website, info@pinchfooddesign.com, and our phone number is 212-244-7000.
Bob, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on the show.
Thank you, Michael. It was great.
My pleasure.
Okay.
All right, and also special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back with Trey Bowles, CEO, Dallas Entrepreneur Center, and our impact investing and crowdfunding correspondent, Vince Molinari of Gate Global Impact. Stick around.